if you get over, you got a job. If you don't, you don't. That's all I can do. I said, no, that's all I want. That's all I've ever wanted, was give me 3 weeks and let me show my stuff. If I can't get over it, I'll quit myself, because I know I can. I always have. You know, that's what killed me so much about WWE, which I'm sure we'll get to later. You know, but so you got 3 weeks, and so I'm thinking to myself, how do I get over? How do I get over? And I've never been one to. A lot of guys in this business are like, oh, how's the promotion going to get me over? I've never wanted to wait for that, because like, I don't think the boys see it. Like, first of all, it's a pretty vain idea that they're thinking, oh my God, we have to do something, you know, that all the thoughts should be directed at you. And secondly, it's like, they got to think of the whole crew, 15, 20 guys. If I come up with as much as I can on my own, and they go, and you hand them a fully formed, fully developed character, all they got to do is insert you, or if you hand them a storyline, it makes their job so much easier, you know. So I've always been a big proponent of that, you know, personal initiative. You know, so I just had a bunch of ring outfits, like, you know, I always thought, like, you know, ring costumes are important too. I mean, look how much better Kurt Angle looks now coming to the ring with the jacket and the sweats than he did just with the singlet. You know what I mean? Because, you know, the robes, it's like, it's a production. Wrestling's a production, you know? And so I always had a bunch of ring jackets and stuff like that. So I'm thinking, how can I get over more? What do I got to do? What do I got to do? I'm going to commentate. So I thought, well, I can just do my wrestling gear and then commentate in that, but, you know, then it's, then, you know, I got a chance to get a costume change in there, so I'll make the most of it. Even if I got to race and get my gear on really fast for my match, I'll put on an actual nice outfit. So I came with I had this white bolero hat, right? So I wore that because I figured, you know, like if I wore it in a bar, I'd probably be just laughed out in the bar, but, you know, it's wrestling. You know, it's entertainment. So I put the bolero hat on. I said, you know, and I said, I had a nice jeans shirt, jeans, you know, good-looking thing. Probably some sunglasses, some Oakleys, I think they were in style at the time. Like Oakleys had just came out, they were like the big thing, you know what I mean? Oakleys, they were expensive, Oakleys. And so I thought, man, girl, get a chick. There's no chicks here. Get me a chick, have a chick come out with me, you know, stand in front of the camera. You know, you can't beat that. You know, you got a guy who's already showed personal initiative, you know what I mean? So I had some girl come out with me, and, you know, and it was also good because I would keep rotating chicks in every week because they'd get lost, they'd show up late. So I was like, you know what? So I knew I wanted to get one chick, but in the meantime, I kept rotating chicks. Plus, it was a good way to, you know, to get laid, too. Because, hey, want to be on TV? Sure. Yeah, that's a great rap. And I'm not averse to getting laid as much as possible. So, so I can't remember who the girl was, but I think I have a picture somewhere at home. But, yeah, actually I do. And it's kind of, so I think it was like, they said you start next Saturday. So I hung out with Rex King for a week, I think. I don't really remember any of this. I'm just kind of putting it together. And I must have went out so I could find a chick, met some chick, told her to meet me up there. She went up there, put her on TV, commentated with Don Coss, and won myself a job, you know. And it was fucking great. I mean, it was 2 glorious fucking years. You know, drugs, debauchery, women, wrestling, knowledge. You know, here I am. I was making $500 a week plus pictures was about the average, because you'd make like $50 a night at all the spot shows. And you make $250, $300 on Saturday at the arena, because the arena would hold a lot more people, obviously. You know, we're only working in front of a couple hundred people. It was about the average every night. Like, every Sunday, we'd either go down to Pendleton, which is a fucking ride, or Coos Bay, which is a fucking ride. They're both like 3.5, 4 hours one way. But, or we'd have Sundays off, or maybe another spot show. But the rest of the week, you never worked less than 6 nights. And you weren't just going like 5, 10, 5, 8 minutes. You're going 15 minutes, 15, 20 minutes a night. You never went less than 12. You know, because there's only like 10 guys, 12 guys on the card, so you had to put in the time. And that's how you learn how to work. And I still think, like, Vince is ridiculous for not putting more money into Smokey in another territory. And even if they're only drawing 200 people a night.
You mean OVW, right?
Yeah, another OVW. Even if they're only drawing 200 people a night, the long-term benefits are going to be worth the money you invest now, because it can't cost that much to run a bunch of armories and, you know, stuff like that and let the people work, you know. I mean, like the Les Thatcher thing, I mean, I know why that exploded, why that blew up and didn't work at all. But, not blew up good, but, you know, imploded would be a better word. But here's something that just maybe boggled my mind. They had them wrestling in a WCW ring, which is like the ropes are a foot lower, the rings are 14 or 16 by 16 instead of 18 by 18, so they're not even practicing. And I mean, they're practicing by day in the right size ring, but at night they're not even wrestling in a ring that they're going to be going to the show in. So and it's completely different. It's like two different rings. I mean, it's two different rings. It's like two different things for, especially for guys that green. You need to practice what you're going to be in. I mean, it was just fucking stupid. But so anyway, so then Monday we'd be some fucking where, and Tuesday we'd be some fucking where, like spot shows. Wednesday some fucking where. But then Thursday, every Thursday you were in Salem, which was like a 45-minute drive one way. Every Friday you were in Eugene, which was an hour and a half one way. And then every Saturday you were back in Portland. And the average drives were like, you know, an hour one way. It was the greatest territory because it was so, everything was so close, you know, except that bizarre, you know, the occasional Sunday drive, you know. And so you're making $50 a night, and then you'd make $250, $300. Then we sold gimmicks, and even though I was the top healer, you know, well, maybe Lynn Denton was, he was the booker, so maybe I guess he was the top heel, but I was the top heel, in my opinion. In his opinion, he was. But in Sandy Bar, who ran the other towns, all the spot show towns, I was the top heel. But no matter what my main event angle was, somehow Lenny's match always ended up after mine. I wonder how that is. Kind of curious. But then, even though I was the top heel, I was still selling the same amount of gimmicks as the two top baby faces, which were Beetlejuice and Steve Donald. Like, you know, one night I'd be the top seller, one night Steve would, one night Beetlejuice would, which I thought was pretty freaking cool that I'm a heel and I'm selling as many gimmicks as the baby faces, you know what I mean? But I was legitimately a heel. I mean, it wasn't like I was a heel that was cheered. I mean, I was booed and hated, but they liked my stuff. I guess they respected the talent, you know? And so you're making $550 a week, plus pictures, short trips, so you get to learn, you know, and I'm riding with the booker, me, him, Al Madrill, different guys, but I mean, a lot of times I rode with the booker, you know, he used to make me drive. He'd be like, and he wore a mask, he wrestled as the grappler, and he'd be like, hey, listen, if you get tired, kid, when you're driving, just put my mask on and let the grappler drive. I was like, all right, thanks. And, but it was great though, because I was like, you know, like, and so many guys today are like, you made all your flunkies drive. I was like, look, I did the same thing. I'm not doing anything I didn't do before, but you get to pick, you know, it's like, by riding with Lenny, I got to pick his brain. I mean, it wasn't like he's going, Scotty, I'm going to teach you, like I did with my guys, you know what I mean? Because I just feel differently than he did. But he would, like, answer me, he would teach me, like, I'd say, all right, well, like I'd say, like, hey, Lenny, I want to be in a cage match. I've never been in a cage match before, you know? Like, the mark in me is like, I've never been in a cage match. I want to be in a cage match. He's like, all right, but why? Like, why are we going to do a cage match? I don't know, because I want to be in one. He's like, well, no, because there's got to be a reason, you know. So I go, what's some idea? I go, okay, we can do this and this. And he goes, all right. He goes, all right, so then we have the cage match, but what do you do after that? I don't know. Well, come back when you think of that. So I was able to learn how to book episodically, how to book week to week to week to week. How does this match lead to that match, to the next match, to the next match? As opposed to let's just throw this on, or let's just throw that on, and just have, you know, a bunch of car wrecks, you know? So it was a tremendous growth period for me.
Yeah. Did you do a lot of developing of the Scotty the Body character, or did they come up from?
Oh, no, it was all me. I mean, back then it was all you. Everything was all you. There was no developing of characters back then.
Yeah.
That was something Vince invented. You know, prior to that, like, you know, it's amazing to me now that all these guys that couldn't write a promo if their life depended on it are top promo guys because someone's writing their shit for them. Back in the day, not only did you have to be able to speak well, like, I mean, there's still a lot of guys who can't cut a promo just because they can't talk the crap or, you know, don't have any charisma or nothing comes across on camera. But back then, not only did you have to be able to cut a promo, you had to be able to write your own shit, too. So, you know, so which kind of, like, oh, phone's ringing, let me see what it is. So not only, so you had to be able to, yeah, it'll stop ringing.
Yeah, just getting over here on the thing.
All right. You still had to be able to, you had to be able to write your own stuff. So, I mean, you know, there was no character development. Nobody said, hey, let's do this, let's do that. You made it all up on your own, you know. And so me and Jericho used to commiserate about that. We're like, man, imagine if, like, it was still like that, you know. We wouldn't have to worry about all these, you know, these non-talented fucks blowing past us because they can't write their own fucking shit, you know. Whatever. I mean, business changed. I think in many ways it's a good thing that there's writers. I think in many ways it's a horrible thing, you know?
Yeah. Well, we can talk about that later.
Yeah.
But skipping over to GWF, how'd you end up there and what was, like, your experience like there?
So we're going to skip over my coke-filled days of Portland. Just in passing, those were glorious times. The amount of drugs we consumed,